The more we fought,
Yeah.
the closer it came. We don't even know you did this. I was ready to be at the theater. I won't let you sacrifice yourself because you're scared of what's to come.
I'm
What's to
late.
come is the end of
Damn.
everything. If you can change the future here, you can change it from back home. But we know this solution works.
You just shut down.
My fault for being late, man. A lot of shit going on, and that's why I ain't been on YouTube for a while. Besides all the funerals and stuff I had to go through for the past, what, damn it, 9 months, among other personal issues going on. You know what I'm saying? But I had to come back, hop on these helmets. Tiana Jones, what's up? Andrew McDaniel, what's going on? I wanted to start this real quick because it's time for me to come back. Forget all these problems and stuff and all this personal stuff going on. I'm gonna have to just shake it. Hop on these dudes' craniums from now on. Because there's a lot of hypocrisy going on. A lot of bullshit going on with this so-called super team shit. So we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna go through history. And we're gonna see how many super teams been around, and how much criticism these other super teams got. Because throughout NBA history, it's always been super teams around. And you got people who say, all right, Boston was a super team with Larry Bird and all that. That's the excuse they make for Jordan could never beat them. Then you got people nowadays, as of right now, they talk about the Lakers being a super team, but in the same sentence saying they're an AARP team. They too old. All right, you can't have it both ways. They got to be one or the other. They either super team or they're AARP team. They're old man team. All these players past their prime, they ain't good enough. They ain't gonna work. They ain't a good fit. You gotta pick a lane because M.L.E, the oldest one on the team right now, if I'm not mistaken, and I guess is LeBron James next. So they got an average of 32 years old for their players. The average is 32 years of age, and there's plenty of teams throughout NBA history who had this average of age of 31, 32, something around that range. But I didn't hear this same noise when people talked about the Brooklyn Nets. You guys Cloud Ticket DVD talk about LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry ruined the NBA by stacking the deck. And I've noticed that it's only a problem when a player is able to have enough juice and enough power to create his own roster, put together his own roster, at least most of the players, and recruit players to come play with him. Nobody said nothing when the Lakers did it when Kobe was here and he recruited who he was able to recruit, whoever was willing to come and play with Kobe. Nobody said that when Big Three Boston got together. They just too old. They can't win, and they actually got a chip out of that. Nobody said, uh, uh what year was that? Wilt the Stilt, Elgin Baylor, and the logo got together. Like they was too old, and they ain't gonna be able to win a chip. Cause they did. Even with the Chicago Bulls, when MJ recruited Dennis Rodman and what's his name, John Sally. Not saying John Sally is part of that big three that Chicago had, but I'm talking about the recruiting part, putting together they own roster for real, recruiting players. You had a lot, a few Pistons former bad boys on that team with MJ, and a lot of people don't know that because it's like everybody is a Skip Bayless type now. Tyon Jump, hey, he say a lot of wild stuff, and 99.9% of the time he's wrong all the time because everybody was hyped up for Brooklyn. People was going crazy saying Brooklyn was going to win a chip. They didn't even make it out the conference. They didn't even make it to the conference finals. And I told everybody, I said, they're not going to the finals. They will not come out the East. I said, it's either going to be Philly or the Bucks. And I was right. Greek Freak got his chip. And I was putting together something about Greek Freak, too, because that's my man. One of my favorite players, my favorite player as of right now. If anybody watch my channel, they know. But he kind of flip-flopped on the things previously he said and changed everything up once he won his title. But that's something later. But I want to get to this because these dudes is hypocrites. And we already know the black Skip Bayless, he said plenty of times proudly that he don't like this nigga LeBron. So we know it's some animosity right there. A lot of hostility coming from over there when he talk about anything sports related with LeBron James. But he a diehard Kobe fan, and he hate to hear the truth when you speak about Kobe and his career. And I've been a Laker fan well before we even got Kobe Bryant and Shaq. We had Eddie Jones. You feel me? Magic was retiring. Always like Magic. I'm a little old. I don't look that old, but I'm a little old. But I've been a Laker fan for a long time, and there's a lot of new Laker fans. And for real, I think Ticket really a new Laker fan, and they probably become a Laker fan until Kobe won. The Lakers start winning their rings. Right. Just like I told everybody about the Clippers. Same thing with Brooklyn. I told people about Clippers. They like, oh, Kawhi better than LeBron. The Clippers gonna win a ring. They gonna destroy the Lakers. They built to beat the Lakers. They wasn't even built to beat the Nuggets. So how the fuck you gonna beat the Lakers when the Lakers demolish the Nuggets? Demolish them. 4-1. 4-1. And everybody like, oh, they just waiting for the playoffs. They just waiting for the playoffs. The regular season matters. Because as soon as they lost, they say, well, they needed more time together. They ain't have enough time together. They ain't played enough games together. The fuck you think the regular season is for? You supposed to took that time during the regular season to build that chemistry and learn your team. Learn their hot spots, their do's and don'ts. Like LeBron do. He know the percentage of where a player's standing, the percentage of the shot that he could make from that spot. That's IQ basketball. And we see how that ended. PG hitting the side of the backboard, got himself a nickname. He done destroyed the nickname that he had, Playoff P, to Way Off P. Kawhi Leonard, he supposed to be Kawhi Jordan. I never seen Jordan go scoreless in the second half of a closeout game. Fourth quarter, the man had 0 points. But they was built to beat the Lakers. It don't make sense. Look at Brooklyn. I told everybody, they're not going to win. And I said, why? It's no leadership over there. Nobody's holding anybody accountable. It's just some homeboys just out there playing rec, playing pickup. Kyrie he take off whenever he want. They supposed to be playing the game. He's somewhere chilling on YouTube and making videos and shit instead of on the court building that chemistry with his team. He was doing everything else. And I told y'all, they's not going to win. And I wasn't even talking about staying healthy because you never know. It's years players stay healthy. It's years players be injured. And I don't want to even hear the excuse that, oh, they wasn't healthy enough, because when you look at the teams they had to go through in the playoffs, for one, KD could have ran through a lot of them teams by himself if he is great as everybody keeps trying to make him to be. And I'm a KD fan. He's from Maryland. I love KD. But he's not who everybody be projecting him to be. He's actually not even the one. He need to be the two on any team that he go to, because he said it himself that he's really not a leader, but he did a great thing by getting us that goal. That's the first time he led a team to something great, that gold medal. Now, when you got Harden, Kyrie, KD, who was the leader there? Because KD said it himself, he's not a good leader. So who's leading? Kyrie. Where Kyrie ever led a team to? Because Boston got to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie. And then when Kyrie came back, they didn't even make it to the conference finals. So it couldn't have been Kyrie. Nobody thought maybe Harden's the leader. Shit. What proof you got? And that's why you see the epic fail that they had. Now, keep it all the way 100. You put LeBron in that situation. Kyrie hurt. He ain't playing. All right. James Harden hurt, but he comes back for a few games. Blake Griffin, I think he played almost every game in that series against the Bucks. And you still had the rest of the team. And you couldn't get to the conference finals. LeBron would at least took that team to the finals. Because everybody making all these excuses. KD still had Blake Griffin on the floor. Everybody thought, oh, y'all threw a parade when y'all seen Blake Griffin start dunking on niggas. He dunked on Giannis. Everybody like, oh, he got his prime back. They all on first things first. Blake Griffin, he went to Brooklyn and got his prime back. Players go to Brooklyn and get their prime back. They unbeatable. Best offense of all time. Yeah, it looked good. And it looked better on paper. But when they got on that court, when it mattered most, they all choked. I don't want to hear about a shoe too big. Nigga, wear your size. Nigga, watch where your foot at. That's basketball. Everybody keep talking. If he only hit an inch, y'all lucky. Listen, stop making all these damn excuses about, oh, he lucky he didn't have to run into the Clippers. Oh, he lucky that, look, they NBA players. They professionals. They've been doing this for years. Stop making all these dumbass excuses. The man choked. Yeah, he hit a good shot, good turnaround shot. He's a great player. That's what he do. But like I said, when it mattered most, he choked. They keep talking about this foot on the line shot and disregard the air ball. He had another one. He shot a fucking air ball. An air ball, bro. Imagine LeBron James shooting that air ball with the game on the line. I never been a Brooklyn fan either, but I liked the Brooklyn when they had certain players. Even when them old niggas KG and them went there. Who was there? Was it Brandon Roy? Joe Johnson. They had a good squad. I tell you something, man. They give them their last chance. Their last change. For real, man. Shot an air ball, bro. Imagine if that was LeBron. But as far as the stack of the deck shit, how is this team is too old? They're AARP team, but he's stacking the deck with old ass players. They got like what they call him, the Uncle Drew roster. you say Uncle Drew when all them old heads was out there balling with Uncle Drew. That's what they call in the Lakers. So how can they be stacked? I don't understand that part. So nobody said nothing when Brooklyn was formed and you had old ass LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin up there in his mid 30s. What Harden? I think he 30 or 30 something. KD 30 something. Jeff Green. What's he called? 29. Joe Harris. DeAndre Jordan. They had a lot of old niggas too. Nobody said nothing about that. So why is only highlighted when LeBron is the focal point of the conversation? It's hypocrisy. It's just a bunch of hypocrites, man. But nobody said nothing about Big Three Boston. They was too old. Nobody said that. They won a ring. KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo. They turned that into 4 All-Stars. Nobody called that an old man team and they can't get it done. And that's the excuse a lot of people make when they talk about LeBron up against the big three Boston. And Wade even said it himself, oh, we formed together to beat y'all. Because they had 4 All-Stars. And they were still all averaging 20 before they even got together. And they still was All-Stars, still playing at an All-Star level. So they still part of the elites. Because that's what the All-Star game is. It's the elite players that year having an All-Star game. So how can you be washed up and all this other shit if you're still amongst the elites? Oh, they too old. So why not use that same shit when you're talking about the Lakers? Because once they win, it's, oh, he had a super team. Of course they're going to win. He stacked the deck. But you try to poke and have your fun too. Like, oh, they too old. They ain't going to win. So don't call them a super team then. LeBron 36. When y'all trying to discredit the big three Boston, saying, oh, them dudes was old and past their prime. Well, what are you calling the Lakers right now? See how that works? Right now, you calling the Lakers old and past their prime. LeBron 36, be 37 this December, if I'm not mistaken, right? M.L.E 37. Everybody in the 30s, for real, the nucleus of the team that's going to get most of the minutes. Besides AD, AD's still relatively young, 27, 28, something like that. But the ones who, and anybody really got any common fucking sense, most of them old dudes ain't really getting that much burn on the court. How many minutes you think Trevor Ariza actually getting? He ain't starting. Melo ain't starting. I doubt if Melo starts. And he's going to be the punch out the bench, so he's the main focus off the bench. That's the only old nigga you could say really going to get some good minutes. And you can't really try to drag on Melo and say, "Oh, you're old and washed up," because you see what he did last year. He's a good. He's still a decent player. Shot 41% from three last year too. Still could go get a bucket for you. He's still a bucket at 37, and learned how to spot up, shoot from three. He had to adapt, and that's what he did. So Marc Gasol, how much burn you think he gonna get? He barely got any burn last year. Well, he next on the top of the list as far as the older players. He's barely getting any burn. Trust me, he didn't get it last year. Until dudes get hurt, that's when they forced to get them niggas minutes. Like, too many players in that position got hurt on our team. We got to give them these minutes. But if you're looking at it realistically, these old niggas ain't really getting too much time. Kent Bazemore, when he's 32, that's around KD age. He a cool two-way player. That's the defense we needed. And that's another thing they talk about. How are we gonna be a good defensive team when we traded out pieces that made us a good defensive team? What pieces is you talking about? You talking about Caruso? Yeah, Caruso, yes, he's a great defender. He's not great on offense. He's good. Well, he's decent on offense. He's okay. He ain't out there crossing niggas. He did hit one step back, and that surprised the fuck out of me last year, but he ain't doing that consistently. He ain't taking his man off the dribble and dunking on him, taking his man off the dribble and doing a circus layup or something. That's not Caruso. He never made an all-defensive team. KCP, he never made an all-defensive team. And Montrezl Harrell, y'all done heard the media always saying he a defensive liability. He's good on offense. He's gritty. He a hustle player. But he lacks on defense. He can't really guard nobody. Them bigs like Joel Embiid, and even LaMarcus Aldridge, he couldn't even guard him. So you can't be talking about Kyle Kuzma. Oh, we traded Kyle Kuzma. Our defense gone. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck out my face with that dumb shit. So who the fuck really is missing that make you say we ain't gonna be good defensively? Because y'all hated Wesley Matthews. Y'all wanted him gone immediately. And everybody trying cat for KCP now, when last year and the year before that, I was the only nigga on YouTube telling everybody that KCP is the third best player on our team. Say he's better than Kyle Kuzma. He showed up in the finals. He showed up in the playoffs, stepped up big, and was our third best player. But y'all kept saying trade him, trade him, trade him. And I kept saying no. The man can shoot and he can defend. Now I like Caruso. I seen that man shut Harden down. He put the clamps on Harden, and LeBron put the clamps on Westbrook in the playoffs. I seen that. But to say that we won't be good defensively because we lost two defensive players, just two of our best defensive players is gone. But you replace, all right, let's say we replace KCP with Westbrook. You think Westbrook play defense? And sometimes I hate that he makes shit personal in the playoffs and go to lock his man down instead of still playing help defense and all that, but he plays defense. And he give you 100 miles an hour. He give you 100% every night on both ends. Not saying that he's an elite defender, but he a two-way player. He plays defense. So we didn't lose right there. As far as Caruso, yeah, we'll miss Caruso. Why not? Of course. But it ain't hurt us to the point that we're not going to be a top 5 defense. We've been a top defense the last 2 years. And the roster been fluctuating. So where the fuck is this? Where's the facts? I don't like that shit. Like, bring the facts. I don't want to hear how you feel. You tell me factually how we not going to be a good defensive team, and I can tell you how we still will be a good defensive team. And it's hard to make a judgment on a lot of things until you actually see a game, because everything look good on paper. You can make anything look good on paper, but this ain't NBA 2K. Look at Danny Green. Everybody was pumped up for Danny Green. And I was like, I don't know. Because Spurs, not saying that this man buckle under pressure, it's a different organization than the Lakers. The Lakers is a more media team, a team that's put in front of the media more than the Spurs is. So Danny Green ain't always had to deal with the scrutiny every night. Even one game, you miss one shot in the final couple minutes, and they talking about it for the next week. Danny Green ain't never had to deal with that. So you seen the nigga shooting, it wasn't what we expected. And that's why when we picked up Wesley Matthews, it was like, all right, we got basically Danny Green again, but for cheaper. Because he was a disappointment too. But back to this old head shit and ruining the league. Dr. J, his first ring, he was playing with another MVP, Moses Malone. What they had, 3 All-Stars, 4 All-Stars, something like that. They had a stacked team. And then Charles Barkley came into a great situation with that team and couldn't even win. It's funny how the dudes who was on what they call super teams and didn't win, and now you got something to say about other people with these certain type of teams and actually winning. So I guess if they was failing all the time and tried it, it wouldn't be no problem. But being as though they're getting something that he always wanted, that he'll never have, not even as a coach, it's a problem. Charles Barkley forced his way to the Suns. And he ain't doing it free agency. He forced his way out of there. Once Dr. J and them got old and retiring and moving around and shit and all that, he like, I'm out of here. Forced his way to the Suns. Was it the Suns first? Yes. Forced his way to the Suns. And a nice team. Kevin Johnson became an all-star. Dan Marley, he became an all-star. Charles Barkley, all together on the team. I think it was one more person, I'm not sure, but I'm going to just use them 3 right there. That's 3 stars right there. He couldn't get it done. And that's part of that IQ and experience comes into play, because when you get in the playoffs, the dudes ain't had an IQ or experience to stand up against the Bulls. They got spanked. Charles Barkley, Chuck. Guaranteed. Guaranteed that nigga loves. Then, like I just said, you Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, Cherry West, the logo. They was older. That was the stacked team. That was 3 MVPs on one team. They got a ring out the deal. They got chip. I think it was only one. They went to the finals a couple times. But they got a ring out of that. But Chuck, left the Suns and went to the Rockets, the same team he couldn't beat. Sounds familiar to me. Sound like some KD shit. You can't beat him, join him. So he lead the Suns to go team up with the Rockets. Clyde Drexler, Hakeem, Charles Barkley. And then they added Scottie Pippen to that. The same guy who he flip flop with Jordan. Right now he trying to get back in Jordan good graces. Because I remember him saying, if I had Scottie Pippen, I had 6 rings too. Now Scottie Pippen wasn't that old. He was relatively older, but he wasn't old as shit when he got down there. And they lost. You got Scottie Pippen and you still lost. Hakeem, Drexler, Barkley, Pippen. And if I'm not mistaken, they were still making the All-Star selections. So y'all still was playing at a high level. Y'all still was amongst the elites and lords. So what the fuck do Chuck be talking about? It's been super teams going on for a while. And that's another thing I want to say too. For a super team, a lot of people don't understand. Everybody got their own definition. I'm starting to realize that because they penalize players for not being able to control player development within their organization. It's not there. Like, how? Yeah, LeBron get one more ring. I got him getting 2. I give him 2 with Westbrook. Westbrook, AD, LeBron. Yeah, like this year, LeBron gonna be hands on, still doing LeBron shit. But the next year, I got I never said Hakeem wasn't old. What you talking about, Keith Cunningham? When did I say Hakeem wasn't old? I said Pippen was relatively old, but not old as shit. Come on, keep up. Yeah, I got LeBron getting another ring, but I got him taking a real back seat after the first year because he gonna be what 38 coming into that next season by that December, and you'll see Westbrook taking over more, being more, making more decisions. And AD still gonna be young, and they gonna add more to it too. You know they gonna add more pieces. I told people LeBron gonna try to get Westbrook, and everybody say, no, that can't happen. The Lakers ain't got nothing to trade. The Lakers ain't got this. Wizards ain't gonna give up Westbrook. Said, man, they gonna get him. Same way I said they could have got Chris Paul. If you hear that it's a strong possibility that it can be done, then it could be fucking done. Just shut up and watch. And they did it. Same way when y'all said we couldn't get AD, and we got him. I know my team. You don't. Sit back and listen. He couldn't win in Portland. Are you talking about Drexler? LeBron was stated super team. Stated or sedated? What you mean stated super team? But look, this is what I'm saying. Uh, no, this is what I'm saying, Keith. I never said Hakeem wasn't old. I said, of course, Hakeem was old. That's why that's the title. That's what I'm talking about. It's the title of the string, bro. We talk about the older players teaming up, and they're like, oh, how's they a super team if they old as shit? I'm saying you can't have it both ways. They calling the Lakers an AARP team, but then they calling them a super team. You can't have it both ways. They either old as shit and can't get it done. They past their prime and all this shit, or they a super team. Because as soon as they win, oh, he's stacking the deck. They're a super team. And when they lose, they be like, see, we told you they was too old. So it's like you putting on a parachute. You try and have an insurance policy. Scotty was in his 30s, bro. He wasn't old as shit. That's the only person who probably wasn't up there with Hakeem age and shit like that. But the point is, Chuck forced his way to team and was in great situations and never got it done. That's where the animosity comes from, because he tried it and it never worked. So when he see other people doing it now and it's working, of course he's mad. Of course. And another thing I want to say about Hakeem, when everybody like, oh, nobody ate on Jordan watch, and then start making excuses that like Hakeem didn't win his ring when Jordan was in the league. They forgot MJ lost to Orlando, and then Hakeem destroyed Shaq and got his ring. But they forget that. They're gonna leave that part out. Put some white out on it. That's the point I'm making about that. But I'm naming other older teams with players that's like they get together and they're older. You know what I'm saying? Like the second run with Chicago when Jordan. I'm a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan before Kobe and Shaq even got to my team, bro. And yes, I'm a LeBron fan too. I'm a KD fan. I'm a Curry fan. I'm a Greek freak fan. I'm a fan of the sport before I'm a fan of any team or any player. But I call out hypocrites. I see the hypocrisy. I see the excuses. Like you can't see, and I'm glad that everybody been doing this, because that's why I brought up the Big Three Boston, because everybody look, they had 4 All-Stars. Oh man, them dudes, they was older and past their prime, man. I'm like, they 4 All-Stars. Do you know what an All-Star is? It's not. Come on, is you serious? Like the All-Stars is still amongst the elite players in the league. They still playing at an All-Star level, and it's 4 of them on one team. But now the age doesn't matter when it comes to LeBron and the Lakers, because LeBron 36. Nobody on that Boston team was 36 though. But y'all don't use that same narrative with the Lakers now. They stacking the deck. Not, oh, they just like the Big Three Boston. They relative, the dudes older and past their prime. Wow. That shit went out the window quick. Nobody using that no more. So what happened with that? That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. That's being a hypocrite. You inconsistent. I formed a team which comprises the most number of All-Star selections ever, and I was like, that one right there made me. Yo, stupid. Hey, is he old or is he still a top? He's still one of the greats. He's still one of the best in the league. Yeah, and that's what I'm getting to, Keith. That's what I'm getting to. That's why I brought up player development. And I was saying everybody got their own definition of a super team, because player development help certain players on certain teams. Let's pick the Spurs. They developed them dudes, they became all-stars. And then you got 3 All-Stars, 4 All-Stars on one team. And you penalize other players who got players on their team that their organization, their player development didn't train them dudes good enough or push them dudes good enough to become All-Stars. And now they're penalized for going to a better situation, recruiting other players to come fill that void. So you can't blame them for jobs inside the organization that they don't have, and the people who do have them not doing a good enough job. So when they go recruit somebody to come fill that All-Star void, when they get to the finals, you playing against 4 All-Stars and it's just you and one other All-Star. Are you not at a disadvantage? It's 4-2. As far as All-Stars, yes, you're at a disadvantage. But you can't complain about it, because they drafted their players and player development helped them become All-Stars. So you should have took the player development job and help them become all-stars. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. You playing at a high level, you playing at a high level. Everybody got different definitions. And then you move the goalpost once somebody break down the facts to you. Because people got a different definition of what a superstar is. My definition of what a superstar is what players playing at an MVP level. That's what I consider a superstar. You playing at an MVP level and you can fill up them seats. Same way people look at the Pistons. When people was like, they don't feel as though the Pistons was a super team when they had five, a starting five of players that's elite, at least amongst the elites in every position. Five All NBA players. And when I say All NBA, all defensive and on the defensive end and on the offensive end, they had every position. Somebody was in one of those selections. It was either an All-Star or an All NBA player. That's an elite player in every position. How is that not a super team? I don't understand like how people be creating these narratives and then run from it when you see the facts right in front of you and you deny it. Because if LeBron had a All NBA elite player in every position on his team, he'd be getting roasted, right? KD too. I'm surprised people ain't even roast KD as much as he should have got it when all them stars came down there to play with him and people started making excuses. Because look, when they got Blake and LaMarcus came down there, everybody was like, oh, Blake washed up. LaMarcus, he washed up. He old, man. And I'm like, hold on, how? Because what? Last year, both of them was injured and didn't really play a lot of games. And then you go to the year before they actually hit all those injuries and wasn't playing a lot of games. Both of them made the All-Star team. Both of them. Blake and LaMarcus. So if you go back to the year before they got to Brooklyn and look at how many games they played, and if that injury didn't hinder them, they still would have been hitting the All-Star selections. They still would have been all NBA players, bro. So when they was getting them dudes, and I told everybody, I said, yo, them niggas is gonna be unstoppable. In every fucking position, they had an elite player. Yeah, you talking about team development? No, it's he have a hand in the recruitment, not the development. Like when you see them videos, you see Phil Handy working with these players when they training camps and stuff like that. He even sitting there, LeBron and AD. You see Phil Handy right there, telling them to do this. Oh, we're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on that. He running, getting the ball after they shoot it. He playing defense on them. He part of the player development. I'm not talking about team development. Yeah, every star they recruit players, and the front office. If they're a franchise player, then what you think about this player? We're gonna go get him. That's where every superstar on every team or every focal point, every player that's a focal point of the team, the GM and them, they're gonna talk to them about all the players that they really gonna go get. I've been watching the NBA since I was 9, bro. I've been a Jordan fan for a long time. Jordan and the Magic. What? 34. Probably don't look like it. But I've been a fan a long time, bro. I've been a Laker fan for a long ass time. And that's why I just be saying the shit I be saying. And people don't even be knowing what I be talking about when I say when Kobe got his first ring, we had 4 All-Stars, bro. And the year before that, we had 4 All-Stars. We traded 1 star to get another star. Starting out that year, Glenn Rice was a star before he got there. Yeah, that's a long ass time. Yeah, if you gonna say it's a super team, say it's a super team. You can't have it. I don't think you understanding what I've been saying for the past 40 minutes. If you're gonna call them a super team, call them a super team. They can't be an old ass AARP team that ain't gonna get it done, and then in the same breath you saying they're a super team. Listen to what? What are you saying? You're not saying nothing, Keith. Everything I'm saying is facts that you could Google. I never tell you how I feel or my opinion. Only time I told you my opinion is what I consider to be a superstar. Everything else I told you was all facts that you could go Google. Everything I said about Barkley, you could go Google it. Everything I said about Katie and the Nets, you can go Google it. Everything I said about Blake and LaMarcus, it can be Googled. I'm not going to say nothing that you can't go research. Because that's me creating a narrative. That's what these niggas do on YouTube. That's what sometimes the media do. They create a narrative that you can't prove is fact or fiction because it's something they created. I can make up a word right now. You can't tell me the definition. I made the definition. You can't tell me the definition is wrong because you can't go Google it. I just made the shit. That's the same way niggas create their narratives, and then they push it. But then when you break shit down, like, hold on, what you just said about somebody was false. When I can go Google it, if you say, oh, that nigga dropped, he had 10 turnovers, and the whole time we go Google it, he had 4. You saw what? What you see? I don't know what you're talking about. Keith Cunningham. What you see? I'm talking about teams. We just seen all these teams. We see the media saying what they saying. If you talking about that, yeah, I seen it too. If you talking about the Lakers, did you see when we had 4 All Stars? When Kobe, uh, when we first got Kobe and Kobe started coming into his All Star roles and shit, the All Star player that he became, and then turned into a superstar. So you saying 4 All Stars on one team ain't a super team? Yeah, it's not, or it is. Because 4 All Stars on one team is a super team. I don't give a fuck what kind of All Star you trying to make them out to be. Oh, they not perennial All Star. Listen, it's 4 All Stars. You know what an All Star is? They the elites in the league who selected for a game. Whoever said Billups was better than Westbrook? Do you know Rasheed Wallace was coming out the bench? Ben Wallace was the starter, bro. What you? Ed, I ain't trying to butcher your name, but you gotta know what you're talking about first, bro. Before you put the emojis up there, you gotta know what you're saying first. You ain't even, you don't want to go that far with me, bro. My basketball knowledge, you ain't gonna be able to do that with me. Because one thing I ain't gonna let you do is put words in my mouth. Yes, yes, I see what you're saying, Keith, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. People got their own definitions because you telling me your definition right now. You can't be considered a super team if you drafted your players. And I said that means you're going to penalize other players who don't have the right organization, who's not a part of the right organization that can develop their players into all stars. So it's cool when the GMs and other the front office put together these teams, but it's wrong when a player put together this team. And also uh, 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 it's some teams that everybody's not drafted together. Some people was traded and got on the team. But I see what you're saying, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because now, oh, all right, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So people get penalized for for the organization not doing their job, and that's one of the reasons. Like everybody was mad when Yo left. I ain't give a fuck. Like them niggas, as far as LeBron leaving and shit, like they NBA players. He did it in free agency. So what? Like I wasn't mad about it, and I understood that the Cavs really wasn't getting nobody or developing them niggas right. They lucked up when they got Kyrie. Kyrie was a star that nobody you couldn't stop block his shine if you had him up. You it wasn't no way you was blocking this little nigga shine. He was that good. He was that great right off the bat. The rest of them niggas, they drafted players. They never developed them into anything. They got a what? Well, what was that nigga name? Anthony Bennett. He was a straight bust. He was a bust. Player development supposed to help him become a star. They didn't. So you got these other good organizations that know how to develop their players, like the Spurs and the Warriors, and even Detroit. They know how to develop their players and make them into what they projected them to be. And when you get to the finals, because one organization, the front office and shit like that, and that's another thing when these motherfuckers win their rings, people don't give the credit to other parts that deserve credit, like the front office and player development. Them dudes deserve credit too. Right, right, right. He did. I understand that he did what he had to do. But I say one thing about LeBron, in the Miami days, he should have came out with at least three rings. Because the Spurs always been a great team, but he still should have got three out of that 4-year run. At least three. They split the baby. That's cool. And he even admitted he choked against Dallas. But that was a big three. Everybody, now we can have this debate too. Everybody who trying to say the Cavs was a big three, that was not a big three. Yes, it looked like that on paper the first year, but once the year started and completed, no, it was not a big three. That's why I say this is not NBA 2K. They was not a big three because Kevin Love didn't make an All-Star selection for the first 2 years in Cleveland. Yeah, 80 Celtics are definitely a super team. Them dudes were still making All-Star selections and all that. Yes, but that's another thing I was bringing up. Okay, we expect LeBron to beat the KD Warriors. We expect him to beat the Spurs in '07 by himself. Why we never expected Jordan to beat these super teams when he went up against them? That's what had you thinking, like, is this nigga really a fucking GOAT? Is LeBron a GOAT? Because he's expected to do the impossible. But Jordan is not. It don't make sense. When Jordan get knocked out first round twice by a Bird and the Celtics, everybody like, all right, yeah, it's a super team. We didn't expect Jordan to beat them. It's cool. But LeBron go against one of these super teams, he's expected to beat them, even with being at a disadvantage. The odds is way greater. Hold on. Hey Keith, you gonna tell me you expected Jordan to beat those Celtics? Because I got a video where MJ choking five clutch shots in one game against Bird. And Bird was a little older at this time too. But you expected him to beat these super teams that MJ went up against? Because he lost against all of them. Every time he went up against a super team, he lost. But back to what I was saying, the motherfucking Nets. Bro, I told niggas they was going to lose. And then anybody think the player ranking for this year? Me personally, I feel as though KD and LeBron should not be that high this year. Why? And it's projected off what's going on this year, the previous year. Nobody said they wasn't drafted, bro. Is you following the conversation? I never said players wasn't drafted. I said yes, the organization did their job. Everybody got a job. Like a lot of people don't understand basketball, bro. They don't understand the NBA. That's why I said when these motherfuckers win they rings, a lot of people don't get credit that deserves credit, like player development. The motherfuckers who made these people into stars. Nobody even talks about them. Like they developed this dude and made us like him. They made him an entertainer. They made him a something to watch. Like Clay Thompson, player development. They turned him into a star. I love watching Clay play. They did a good job with him. And then you got other organizations that they draft a player and he's some shit. I don't want to see this guy on the court. Trade him. We say it all the time. Trade such and such. Get rid of him. Get rid of them. Kuz. Get rid of Kyle Kuzma. Because he didn't develop into what niggas wanted him to be. They didn't develop into a star. But like I said, when you get to the finals and you got that organization, he might have he got a superstar and he got the stars that they developed around him, and then you got another team where he got your superstar, probably one star beside him, or probably just a good player beside him, and he's expected to win. And when he don't, it's like, why didn't he get it done? Well, if he's going against a team with 3, 4 all stars and he's outmanned, ain't that a disadvantage? Like that's why I say. So y'all expected MJ to beat the '80s Celtics? Y'all expected MJ to beat every super team that he came up against? So you're penalizing these other players for the organization job, for the organization not doing their job as far as player development. You should have developed these players like you're supposed to do. You do your fucking job. Because these other organizations doing their job, they creating a good product. And when they reign, them them coaches, them the personnel and player development, they deserve credit for that shit. Like the Warriors. They deserve credit for developing them dudes into stars. Draymond, Clay, even Curry. They deserve credit for turning them into stars. Steph became a superstar, a unanimous MVP. And that's why I feel as though he need to be in the top 10 greatest of all time. You got the greatest shooter of all time and a unanimous MVP. Ain't he the first unanimous MVP? And he got a good resume. Why ain't he up there? Why the fuck is Charles Barkley ranked so high? But yeah, back speaking of rankings, back to the player ranking of coming in this year. LeBron is number 4, KD number 1. How? Them niggas shouldn't even be in the top 5. Not this year. Because last year, look what they did. Like KD didn't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Giannis should be number 1. He won the ring and the Finals MVP. Joker should be number 2. He was the season MVP. At least put Chris Paul in that top 5 for getting the Suns to the finals. And you could probably throw Trae Young in there for at least getting to the conference finals. It's about what just happened this previous year, not the body of work throughout their whole career. That's an all-time ranking. The NBA player ranking, when that shit come out, to my knowledge, that shit supposed to have been based off what just happened previously. So them dudes is up too high. How the fuck is KD number 1? He ain't done shit. He wasn't even in the MVP talk. He didn't even get out the second round. How can you have him ranked over Giannis? And the boy got a more impressive resume than me. He got a more impressive resume. couple MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year. Big records, all that. Like, and then he led his team to a chip. But I always felt as though Kyrie was better than KD anyway. KD even said he ain't a great leader. So he did his thing this year though with the Olympics. I gotta give him that credit. Everybody gotta bow down to that one. He brought that gold home. Congratulations to Team USA, my nigga. He did that. But all these excuses about he wears shoes too big, his foot was on the line. Is you fucking serious? Imagine hearing that shit with LeBron. Oh man, if LeBron had one size shoe smaller, get the fuck out of here. Just like people like, oh, LeBron was injured. He was coming off an injury. Look, he got his ass on the court. You got to perform. Same way y'all making excuses. Well, KD didn't have no help. Harden was on that floor. I don't give a fuck talking about he was on one leg. He should have stayed on one leg on the bench and healed the fuck up. You on the court, you got to perform. Because if they'd have won, they'd have gave him all so much credit for being on that floor. So the same way you to give him the credit, you got to give him the flag. You should have stayed on the bench. So you had Harden and Blake Griffin, who everybody said he done went back. He done went to Brooklyn and found his prime, got his prime back. He didn't get it done. How the fuck is he the best player in the world, the best player in the NBA, and didn't get out the second round with his help on the floor? Now you would have an excuse like he ain't had no help, even though we seen players do it with less. We seen players get to the finals with less, but that man didn't get there, man. He didn't do it, and it was a game 7. Hell of a game though. Hell of a series. I love every minute. But how can you ruin a league when the league been like this for a long time? It just ain't been as much movement in free agency with it. Players was forcing their way out. They was forcing trades. They wasn't really moving around too much in free agency. A few players here and there moving around in free agency, going where they want to go and shit like that. Very few. But players demanded trades to play with each other. Players demanded trades to get to other teams. How you think Wilt got to play with Jerry West and Elgin Baylor? You think they're going to just do that without them dudes' consent? Yeah, they got to. They might not like each other. They got to see if they're going to be a fit. If they're going to get along. If they're going to play together. Like somebody going to make a sacrifice. And that's what I mean by when the GMs and shit, they go to their franchise player when they're going to go out and recruit players. They got to see how this nigga feel about playing with this person or that person. Oh, last year in the playoffs, them dudes had a scuffle. Let me see if he cool with us bringing him in. They got to talk to these dudes about it. Charles Barkley, big example of forcing his way to team. And every time he forces his way into a great situation. So it's cool when you force a trade and do it. But it ain't cool when you just move in free agency at your own will. That ain't making sense. That don't add up. That don't add up. I think it's mostly that people don't want to see motherfuckers with that type of power. Because, and I understand it to a certain extent. Only extent that I understand it too is that, all right, you're a fan of a team and this player is holding your team hostage, basically. They at his will, like he could get them to do whatever the fuck he want, and it might hurt your team in the long run. Now I understand that part, but it's still these players' right to do what the fuck they gonna do. And you wouldn't have to feel that way if you had an organization that did their job with player development. Oh, you want to leave? Fuck it. Same way we made you, nigga, we gonna make another one. But when you got an organization and you see they can't even produce a second star, yes, you feel some type of way about these niggas teaming up and moving around in free agency. But when the GMs and shit put together these big teams, it's nobody's mad, nobody's upset, nobody really gives a fuck. They happy. Oh, you see who we just got? Like, Boston just traded for KG. Ray Allen coming down here. Any Boston fan that said he wasn't pumped up about getting them niggas on that team, they lying. Because I told everybody when I first seen KG and Ray Allen get on Boston, I said they going to win. They going to win this year. And what they do? Win that year. They won. And who put that together? The GMs. And yeah, of course, them dudes talked to each other behind the scenes and agreed that they was going to team up or whatever. Right. They agreed that they was going to team up and shit. And they talked to the GMs and shit. Kevin made that happen. They gave away KG for basically nothing. Like a bag of chips and a soda. Same shit niggas wanted to trade Kyle Kuzma for. And we wound up getting Westbrook. Shit. Put the soda down, put the chips down. I've been wanting Kuzma out of there. His second year, I wanted Kuzma out of there. He was a fit. He was never the player that everybody projected him to be. Kuzma is a cool player, a cool role player. Cool, not good, he's decent. He's not great. He's not a star. Laker fans, we created that monster, that undeserved arrogance that Kuzma had. The fans did that by calling them the big three, by calling him a star. Oh, he our third star. No, he was never the third star. And most of his points, a lot of his shit was assisted on from balling Lebron anyway. And Ingram always been a better player than Kuzma. We just couldn't keep Ingram because he wasn't a fit. And Pelicans damn sure wasn't going to do that deal without Ingram being involved because everybody knew he's a better player. He did more. He played better defense. He's able to run a point. He's a better passer and rebounder and scorer. So why the fuck wouldn't you put him in that deal? Yeah, of course. Y'all keeping Kuzma. We taking Ingram. And we taking Ball. Because we see the potential in Ball. Like what? He put up Jason Kidd rookie numbers up. And still got people still scorched him and flamed him his rookie year. That's due to his father though saying he's better than Kyrie and all that dumb shit. But bro, that man ain't ruined the motherfucking. Them dudes ain't ruined the league. Now dumb shit like this nigga DVD tick DVD, you ruining sports talk with all these dumbass narratives and fake ass reports. Talking about you just got a text that LeBron and Kyrie fighting. Nigga, ain't nobody text you no shit like that. Show the text. I ain't gotta show no text. Nigga, you lying. That's your source, a text. And we supposed to just take your word for it. He say dumb shit like that. That type of shit is ruining sports talk. Niggas can't even have a real good sports NBA debate without all these dumbass hypocrisies, statements and shit going on. Because you use one defense mechanism for one player and go against every defense mechanism that you use for that player to bash another player. He started that shit. Take a DVD. Yeah, you ruin the sports talk with that type of shit. Because And we did a debate before. I brought up Kobe. Start talking about Kobe. Every excuse that he made for Kobe, he killed LeBron for the same shit. Oh, why Kobe lose against such and such? Well, Kobe only had Wishman Carter on his team, and he ain't really had no help. Well, Kobe had just came off an injury. Okay, then you turn around and say the same shit. Well, LeBron used it. Well, LeBron ain't had no help. Well, he should have got it done. Doesn't matter. He said he the GOAT. How ain't you using the same defense mechanism that you used for Kobe? That's hypocrisy. And that's what sports talk done turned into now. We can't have a real debate without this that dumbass type of ideology. Nobody can keep it 100 no more. And that's why I say, like, I don't be giving you my opinion. I tell you something that you could go Google. That way we can have an honest debate. And we could bring in the context. Add the context. Right. And we can have a fair discussion of adding the context in there. But if you start talking about players and you be like, well, which call won a ring, and Pippen wasn't even an All-Star that year. He was an All-Star the year before. And then when you be like, oh well, LeBron, 2016, he won his ring. Kevin Love nor Kyrie was an All-Star. Come on, how you gonna say that? That was the big three. You talking about Kevin Love. Before he got there, he was averaging 25 and 15. And Kyrie, we already know. But didn't you just say the year before MJ won, Pippen was an All-Star, but the year that he won, Pippen didn't make the All-Star team that year. So how you can't have it both ways, my nigga. That same defense mechanism that you use for one player kills your argument against the next one. And you can do that with so many players. And like I just said about 2016, you can go Google it. Because Kevin Love, first 2 years there, like, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't make an All-Star team until the third year. So ain't a super team is three. Well, most people definition of a super team would be like 3 All-Stars on one team. A team full of a stacked up team is 3 All-Stars on one team, not a stacked team. 4 All-Stars on one team, not a stacked team. But then you start cherry picking, just like people cherry picked the Atlanta Hawks back in 2015, just because Jeff T not one of them top All-Stars like Kyrie, or one of them what's his name, Paul Millsap. He not a Tim Duncan, so it don't count. But they had 4 All-Stars, but it don't count because he not a Tim Duncan. They ain't had Shaq and Tim Duncan on the same team. They ain't have Chris Paul and Kyrie on point guard and shooting guard to make them 4 All-Stars. That's the NBA 2K roster must see TV type of All-Star right there when you put them niggas on the same team. But it's 4 All-Stars on one team, bro. And what's his name? His Shaq. To go back to what you were saying earlier, not once did I say Billups was better than Westbrook. Not once did I say that the Lakers not a super team. Not once did I say they was a super team. Only thing I said was you can't have it both ways. For anybody that's calling them too old an AARP team, and at the same breath saying LeBron stacking the deck, he got a super team. It's one or the other, bro. Pick one and stick with it. If they a super team, they're a super team, my nigga. If they ain't, they ain't. But you can't say they both. That's like, oh, what team you pick this year? You know what? I'm gonna pick the Lakers, but just in case, you know what? I got the Nets too. I got both of them winning. What you mean you got both of them winning? Whoever wins, that's who I got. What? You serious? That's what that is. You gotta stay in the lane. One or the other, bro. And I'm talking about that Detroit team that year that it was 5 All-NBA players on one team. In every position, they had an elite player. That's the super team. I don't give a fuck if they was drafted or not. It's about the talent. I don't care how the talent got there. It's talent. And teams around the league, the organizations, the front office, the players, they do what they can and do what they try to do to combat that. And they was the shits. 5 All-NBA players / All-Stars in every position. And they won. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, them three, Ben Wallace. Who else? It was. I gotta go back and look at it. I'm at to Google it. I got it written down. But it was 5 of them, bro. And then LeBron had to go against them, and they wasn't the same Pistons team at that time when LeBron beat them. Then Ben Wallace wasn't there no more. But they still had at least 3 all NBA / All-Stars on that team. They still an elite team. But it still wasn't that stacked team, that 5, that big 5, that 5 elite players on one team. It wasn't that team that he beat. But it still was a great team. Because people be getting that mixed up with the LeBron, the Detroit team that LeBron had to go against. It wasn't that same team that I think that's the ones Kobe and them lost to. It wasn't that team, and that's how what's his name, Tayshaun Prince got his name in that finals. What was the year after? Yeah, Tayshaun Prince got his name in that finals by locking up Kobe. But throughout the whole fucking league history, it's been stacked teams because, like my man Keith brought up, the motherfucking '80s Celtics, bro. And then you could even go back with the what's his name, who if everybody say it's all about the rings and only about the rings, the real GOAT, Bill Russell, with the 11 fucking rings and the damn near 12 Hall of Famers on one fucking team. And back then, it was only 8 teams, and you got mostly all the best players on the Boston fucking Celtics. And that was kind of a racist time back then. So of course, Boston gonna have all the best fucking players. Yeah, I come back. Yeah. So they got damn near all the best players and shit. Yeah. I don't have it. I need a light. Yeah, but they had all the best, mostly all the best players. 8 teams, bro. You playing the best team damn near what every fucking night, majority of the time. And you could go through. Hold on. What team was that shit, bro? Is you could name so many teams that had 3 All-Stars, 4 All-Stars on one team throughout the whole fucking history of the NBA. Even 2009, Orlando had 3 All-Stars on one team. 3 All-Stars on one team. Detroit, Orlando, Spurs, of course. But then the Kings even had no. I think they had just 2. I think they had just 2. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I don't think no point guard they had was an all-star. I gotta check because was Bobby Jackson? Was Bobby Jackson right? Was Bobby Jackson ever an all-star? I don't remember. Kings used to be the shit. I used to like the Kings. I'm not always a Lakers fan, and I know I ain't supposed to like the Kings, but they just look good. Jay Williams wasn't an all-star. That's why I brought up Bobby Jackson. I gotta check. I gotta do my research on that, so don't quote me on that. but they just looked good. I liked it though, and I liked it that Kobe was he ain't film, and he just went off. And he tried. He did some fails. He had his failures, and he fucked up. But he wasn't afraid of them niggas. But everybody thought the Kings was going to win. They thought they was going to get a ring. But throughout the whole NBA history, bro, it's always been these type of teams. It's always been stack teams. It's always been super teams, whatever you want to call them. Some, even back then, some was created by the players. Some was created by the GMs. Even if it wasn't done in free agency, dudes demanded trades and got to where they wanted to be. Wasn't Wilt playing for the Warriors before he got to the Lakers? And for all, like I said, I was an MJ fan for a long time. I'm still an MJ fan. I love MJ, but dude, bro, Shorty better. I'm not gonna say he got a better resume. That's a good debate, but when you talk about just on the court of skill and what you can do, this nigga like a Swiss Army knife, and MJ like a big ass butcher knife. You feel me? So if you run around, the motherfucker could do more. But for people to say, well, Jordan would have won 8 straight or some dumb shit like that, it's impossible to say something like that when he never done it. That means he went to the Wizards and took them to the finals, or he didn't even get them to the playoffs, bro. Nobody won on Jordan. Watch Hakeem did. Come on, it's just easy facts that should be blowing me sometimes. Like I love these players the same. I love these players too, but what's the point of lying when you can easily just Google that shit? That shit ain't hard to find that information. Yeah, I was there. I seen it because I was watching basketball and seen this shit live. But for people who don't or don't know or didn't see it live, you can easily Google this shit. Look at when MJ came back to the league, and look at when Hakeem won his ring. Look at who MJ lost to in the playoffs. You can Google how many teams eliminated Michael Jordan boys out the playoffs, and you can easily find it right there. Oh, so he did lose. Oh, Hakeem won that year. Come on, bro. And you ain't only player you gonna find that really uh, uh dominated the league and winning multiple times back to back is Bill Russell. I think that nigga won 6 rings straight, some shit like that. But people try to discredit him because he's not he wasn't a top offensive player. Everybody know Bill Russell was more defense than anything, but that's his skill set. Every player ain't the same. Some players is mainly defense, but they are great defensive player and they know how to work with the team. It's about using your skill set to affect the outcome of the game. Just because your skill set ain't like your favorite player's skill set, that doesn't make his wins any less. That nigga played great defense and he was an on-court coach and he won 6 rings straight. And I'm pretty sure it was six straight, 6 rings straight. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure though. If it wasn't 6, it was 5 straight, but it was 6 straight. A defensive player, but he used his skill set to affect the outcome of the games, bro. That's what basketball is. Stop trying to turn these players into something that they not. Everybody got their own skill sets. Let them niggas use it and see how can they affect the outcome of the game. That's the beauty of fucking basketball. Especially when you got a player who's not a great offensive player. He could be an okay offensive player and great on defense. And just this night, his defense is what affected the outcome of this fucking series. Of the game and probably won the series. That's the beauty of basketball. Hey, bro, y'all be safe, man. To any of my subscribers or anything like that, bro, I've been off because throughout the past like 9 months, I done had so many fucking funerals. One of my grandfathers, one of my grandmothers died. Grandfather died November. One of my grandmothers died January. My uncle just died June. My little brother died July. A few weeks ago, my other grandmother had a stroke. She's in the hospital right now. Right before that, I had an anxiety attack, and I just got out the hospital. It's just been a real struggle for me. But I appreciate y'all, man. And this shit like this, it relaxes my mind. It takes the stress off my mind. So I'm 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 back at it. I'll be back at it. I've been working on some videos, and I'm gonna try to get these bitches out as quick as possible from here on out. Hopefully, I get at least 2 a day, or if that, at least get one out. Because I got so much content ideas. I be giving that shit away. Like, it's some people I message and give them my ideas. Like, yo, you can make a video about this. You need to talk about that. And because I don't want to just sit on it and let it go to waste. Because I don't be having the time. And then I got these badass kids. My kids bad as shit. I be having to watch them too. Kids bad as a motherfucker, my nigga. So all that on top of that. I be having a lot of time, man. But y'all brothers be safe, man. I gotta go in here with my wife before she start kicking my motherfucking ass. All right, man. Salute.